Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
Hey everybody, this is Dan from the Rock Nerd Radio Show. Thanks for tuning in today. And in the video today, I'm going to be rearranging my Generation 2 Decepticon shelf. This is the Transformer shelf with all my G2 inspired characters on it. There's going to be some characters taken off the shelf, some added. Namely, one thing you're going to be seeing added was that Combiner Wars Generation 2 Minosaur that I made a video on a couple weeks ago. But aside from that, I also got my hands on the new Legacy Generation 2 Jahaxis. This figure is awesome, by the way. It's a Voyager class figure, so it's hovering around that $30 price tag in the States. But it is really, really cool. The transformation's pretty neat. He is imposing. I know he might not be for everybody. This is very much from the Generation 2 comics. Never really had a Generation 1 character. Was featured in IDW, the IDW comics, but sometimes in this body, sometimes in a different looking body. But yeah, so because of him and because of that Minosaur that I got, I really need to rearrange that shelf. So I'm going to be doing that today, and I hope you enjoy it. So check it out, stick around. And this guy has a lot of white plastic. I really hope it doesn't yellow like a lot of people have been complaining that Hasbro products have been yellowing lately. I haven't seen too much of it, but then again, I'm not paying super close attention. And it's very dark in my basement. It's really just the lights that I have on down here and the lights in my display case. So there's no direct sunlight on any of this stuff. So I haven't had a problem yet. But keep my fingers crossed that he stays okay. And let's start rearranging the shelf. All right, let's go. All right, so as you can see, I'm going to start by cleaning off my shelf. And two characters who you saw quickly get pulled off, who will not be making a return to the shelf, are the Movieverse Terra Dive and Space Case. I originally picked those up way back when because they were G2 Jet characters, and I thought the movie representations were decent, but really looking at it now, they don't look like those original characters all that much, so I decided to keep them off the shelf. You did see the Jahaxis from a few years ago also get pulled off the shelf, as he will be replaced by the new one in Legacy that you saw at the beginning of this video. Alright, so now as we're going here, you gotta pardon me here for a moment while I fix the wire and get ready to remove Skyjack and readjust the camera for a quick moment, and I begin to reset up the Decepticon Generation 2 Euro G1, a little bit of RID shelf. I know it's not quite just G2, but the Generation 2 Combiner Wars Minosaur is the first thing up here. I put out a video on him not too long ago, and it really took a while to figure out where I was going to put him on this shelf because he is so massive. Skyquake comes back next. He's got that really big gold scope on the back of him, which kind of limits where I can put him. Luckily, mine doesn't seem to have been affected by gold plastic syndrome yet, but I'm worried that one day it just might crumble off. I really hope it doesn't happen. I would love an updated Skyquake somewhere in the Transformer Legacy line, maybe down the road. All right, next up is Ruination. This is the Walmart version with that urban camo, of course, from the Robots in Disguise toy line. I really like that urban camo on Ruination. I thought it looks pretty cool. And then I am putting Stalker back on. He is one of those Euro G1 Predators. I did take his giant missile off his arm because it's about as tall or as long as the figure itself. So now that this shelf is getting a little crowded, I needed to figure out what to do with it. You just saw it in my hand there. And I'm going to temporarily put it next to him as a representation of it, but I can promise you that it's not going to stay there. All right, after that, I am putting in the Robots in Disguise. I'm sorry. After this, I'm putting in Skyjack. This was a Walmart exclusive figure back in the day. I believe it came out under the name Skyfall, and I did put a render former head on him to make it look a little bit more like the actual G2 figure. Then I put in RID Scourge, a character who I really like. I really love that toy. I don't know if I'm going to replace it when I get that Walmart Velocitron Scourge in hand, so I don't know if that's going to be staying on my shelf. What I'll be doing, I'll figure it out. Of course, Jahaxis now coming up because I just got him. Really like that. Such a great update and just an awesome, awesome looking figure. I had Megatron here, but I am going to end up moving him because I need to put in the Selects Generation 2 Ramjet. And I really like that Ramjet figure. You know, I really like the Earthrise mold of all the Seekers, whether they be Coneheads or not. I'm very lucky in that all of my pre-orders for that stuff never got canceled. So I do have Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Ramjet, Dirge, and why am I blanking on the other one's name? But all three of the Coneheads are in my collection, so I'm happy to have the G2 Ramjet as well. And of course you can see I'm having some trouble fitting him on the shelf, but he will get there eventually as I move Skyjack around. And there we go. There we go. Now they're in. And then, of course, after that, I'm going to be putting up Sandstorm. This was a Selects figure as well, from an unmade concept of a Generation 2 figure. Of course, Megatron goes back up. And then I'm going to be putting up Dreadwing. This was a figure from, I want to say, 2013. One of the first times that I could recall, after Skyjack there, that I got a great G2 representation. And I still feel like that one's pretty good. And then I put up Jetstorm, who is an authentic Generation 2 Jetstorm. I also do have an authentic Generation 2 Megatron, but he is on a different shelf. It's not a shelf full of Megatrons, quite honestly. So, there we go. I'm just going to kind of fix some stuff up, make sure it looks good. But thanks for tuning in for this one. And remember, you can always like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can always listen to the Rock Nerd Radio Show podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. And until then, I've been Dan. You've been pretty awesome. Thanks for watching me set up a shelf full of Transformers. And I will catch you next time. Thanks.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.